Hey everyone, it's Grace and welcome back to my channel. So finally I'll be reviewing the Pony Effect Everlasting Cushion Foundation, and I've been using this for more than a month now, definitely more than a month, because I don't know, I've just been gravitating towards it and I just didn't have the time to review it then, but I actually got to know more about it and find a way to work with it in a way that my skin cooperates with it. If you watch the rest of the video, you'll understand why. Yeah, so before we get into the review, please don't forget to click the subscribe button down below and click the thumbs up button so I know what videos you guys like. And yeah, without further ado, let's get on to it. So I bought my Pony Effect Everlasting Cushion Foundation when I went to Korea 3 months ago, and this was on sale for 35,100 won. It's originally 30,000 won. Now that is a bit hefty. That's like $39 or almost $40. But to be honest, you're getting a compact, and it also comes with a refill. So I think that is like a good amount. I think that's a pretty good price. If dividing it, you'll pretty much pay for like what, 17,000 per cushion, and you don't really get that much cushions at around that price point. Well, there's cheap ones, but they're not really the best ones. Like, you can get one of the cheapest cushions that I've seen start around 22,000 to 24,000 won. So I think for 39,000, or if you're lucky you get it on a deal for 35,100, I think it's a pretty good deal. But yeah, so this one is part of their cushion line. They have the matte version, which I think is called Cover Stay. Then this is the Dewy one, and this is the Everlasting one. Now, to be honest, I have combination oily skin, but sometimes it's leaning more on the oilier side, and I have acne prone sensitive skin, and you'll be like, why did you pick a dewy foundation? Well, I don't know, I've been kind of playing around with dewy foundations because I just feel like they're a lot more versatile. Like, if you want to mattify it, you can use a mattifying primer and then add some powder and it works well. But with matte foundations, you're basically stuck with matte foundations. So yeah, I actually just got home and I've had this on since 11 o'clock in the morning, and it is 11:16. So yeah, I've had it on for a really long time, for like 12 hours. And is that 12 hours? Or 8 hours? Oh my god, I don't know how to tell time. So yeah, I didn't use any primer. I just used my moisturizer and some toner. Yeah, so usually when it comes to like these cushion foundation reviews or BB cream reviews, I like to use a moisturizer / tone-up cream because I'm not quite sure how light this will be. So I have a feeling this will be a lot lighter than the COSRX Blemish Cushion. So yeah, from the swatches that I did on store, this was their darkest shade available. I think there's still a darker shade to this, but yeah, this is the darkest one there. So I used the Rose Veil cream from VProb. So yeah, no primer whatsoever and everything. So let's open this one up. I'm hoping it's okay, but I actually really like the puff here while I was testing it in Watsons, so I'm excited to try that one. Then here it is, but I have to put down the puff first, it might fall. So looks like that. For 35,100, this is actually a pretty good deal because you get a refill. So here it is. Oh, it doesn't look too light. So looks like this. There's no strong scent to it. Oh wow, that is saturated. That's not looking too bad. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start off with this side. So use the puff. This one is not as like cushiony as the COSRX one, so I have that one. But I'm gonna put it at the center of my face. Okay, this one is not looking too bad, the shade. Okay, it's looking really white, but it doesn't look that bad in person. I feel like this is almost the same shade with the CosRX one. Hold on, yeah, it's almost the same, as you guys could see, almost the same shade, so that's good. I was scared for it to be really light, so I guess I picked the right shade. To be honest, I actually like the sponge of the pony effect. It was a lot easier to work with compared to the CosRX one. I really like that this one is actually a little bit, compared to the CosRX one, this one blends in a lot better, like it blends in a lot easier, because I feel like the CosRX is more of a matte finish. So yeah, but it covered up the redness a bit, but like you can still see that one there. I still see this dark spot right here, but I actually kind of focused the coverage here, so that's not too bad. I think I see why I like this one. This one is a bit smaller compared to the CosRX one, so it actually fits my fingers really well. But I feel like for those who have bigger hands, they wouldn't like this. But I have smaller hands, so I can control this a lot better. Okay, full face done. As you guys can see, it definitely has a dewy effect, like especially my nose. It's showing how dewy it is. So yeah, I actually like the coverage. It's not as full coverage as the CosRX one, and I can still see like my imperfections kind of seeping through. Like it covers like discoloration and redness really well, but you guys can see there's this big old zit there. But yeah, so far so good. I look really sick, I'm sorry. I tend to like go over my lips. Okay, second layer done. Definitely cover this a little bit more. This one, the redness is not as bad, but it's actually looking really nice. So it is 4:05 in the morning and I just got back home. I did my makeup at 5:30, and yeah, it held up pretty nicely. I blotted at like 12 midnight or 12, a little bit over 12, and it's actually holding up pretty well. Okay, now looking at it close up, I don't know if you guys will see, but let's try to focus. Okay, you guys could see here and here, it's not looking so hot, so it probably because of the powder I used, but like, see that? See? So it is day 2 of the Pony Effect Everlasting Cushion Foundation. I used it today. I haven't blotted, but I didn't leave. Wait, I think I left. I put on my makeup around like 3:30. So this is what we're using, the Pony Effect Everlasting Cushion Foundation. It is my second time trying it, and I don't know if you guys could see, but like, hold on. Do you see that it's separating still? And I actually used a different setting powder, because the other one I used, I'm having like problems with how to properly apply it still. So I used my trusty one, which is the Cartier Spun Loose Powder. It didn't separate as bad, but it's still separating on my fine lines. Like, yo. See that? It's still separating. It's not as bad as the other day, but it's still separating pretty badly. So yeah, so I think I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out. It didn't separate as bad today, so maybe I would use like a separate I don't know, I would use like a different, maybe a brush to set my makeup. But so I don't know what day it is, because I just got back from vacation, like on a holiday like a few days ago, and I was using the Pony Effect Everlasting Cushion foundation during that time. I went to Baguio, which is actually colder compared here in Manila, so it's not as humid. The weather there was around, the coldest was around 11 degrees. So it actually looked really nice there. I actually enjoyed it there. I didn't oil up as much. But the thing is that I just noticed with this one, I've used different powders. I've used my trusted powder, and I don't like the I don't know if you guys could see, but like, I don't know, my main problem is this area where it's separating. Do you see that? Yeah, but like, hello everybody. So this is day, I don't know what day it is. I'm gonna turn off the electric fan real quick because it's gonna make lots of noises. So and let's sit in my chair. You know, you guys are and I actually use a different method of setting it. Like I use a sponge, kind of like a damp sponge, to set it, so I feel like it really just sets the face, and it's not as bad. Like, or is it just me? But it's not as bad and doesn't look as separated. So I think I'm finally finding a way on how to like use the pony effect one, because honestly I just love this. I just hate how it looks throughout the day. So I'm gonna continue using it because I'm leaving again tomorrow, and I'll be using this one again. So yeah, hopefully it will turn out okay. And I actually used a different primer today as well, so yeah, there's a lot of things to consider when using that one. But so far I think today I've set it in a way that I really liked it. So yeah, if you guys hear something, that's my cat eating. I hope you guys don't mind. But yeah, I have it in the shade Nude Beige, which I think is their second darkest shade. I think their darkest shade is Sand Beige, but to be honest, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys are like all familiar with the colorings of Korean cosmetics. I mean, it's not dark at all, and it looks actually darker on the pan, but once you put it on your face, it's a lot lighter. The coverage of this one is medium to, well, you can definitely build it up to full coverage. While I was using this firsthand, I was really impressed with the coverage because of how I can, you know, make it a medium coverage and still build it up to almost full coverage. It's not like super full coverage, because now that I have acne scarring and a little bit of redness, it doesn't really cover the redness well. It covers dark spots well, but not really the redness. So if you have like acne prone skin, I'm not really sure this would work well for you because it doesn't really cover much of the redness. And while I was using this one, I still had to use my Sam Cover Perfection Tip Concealer, and if you know that, it's a pretty full coverage concealer. But yeah, so the coverage is medium to full coverage. The finish is definitely dewy, but it's not a wet dewy look. It's just a very glowy dewy look. It's dewy but not too dewy, so I think people with oily skin can still like get away with it if you guys want to try this one. And yeah, I love the finish of this one, even though it's a dewy, because like after I set it, the dewiness still kind of seeps through, so it's not completely matte, and I love that. I mean, I do have oily skin, but I don't like a flat look, so I really like the fact that it still has a little bit of glow to it, which I really appreciate. I love the finish, I love the coverage, I love the formula, I love the puff itself. I'm in love with this puff. I don't know what it is with this puff. It's not as soft as the other puff. Like comparing it to the COSRX Blemish Cushion, that one, the puff there is definitely a lot more, it's a lot softer, but with this one it's not as soft. But I think because it's borderline kind of spongy and kind of not that soft, that you actually were able to like blend the foundation or the cushion a lot better. And yeah, I really do like it. And while blending it, it doesn't really pick up the product. Like, it doesn't like take away the coverage, it just blends it really nicely. I actually really like this puff that with concealers as well. I actually use it to like blend my concealers as well. It just blends it really nicely, so I like that. I have one problem with this cushion. I absolutely love the finish and everything, the way it looks on my skin, but it's just one thing that I always had problems with this cushion. It's properly setting it, and I think because one of the things is that my skin is oily, but I also use a mattifying primer. But even if I use a mattifying primer, it doesn't, you need to find a powder to like really perfectly set it, because if you don't, it will, especially your smile lines here, it will crease there. And yeah, this is like my main concern of this cushion, is that it creases badly here, and by the end of the day it looks super bad. So for me, for it to work, I kind of avoid using powder brushes, because I don't think it really sets it perfectly. It kind of just sits on top of the cushion. So what I do is I take my sponge, usually the Real Techniques one, and I kind of press it into my skin. The powder needs to be pressed onto your skin for it to set completely, or else it will just slip and slide throughout the day and kind of crease. That's one of the cons I found. So usually when I first started using this, I did not like the finish. It was patchy because of the way that the foundation at the bottom separated, as well as the powder separating. So I found a way that I sometimes use a translucent powder, then I actually use a final powder to kind of set it completely. But lately I've been using just one powder and kind of just pressing it into the skin a little bit more. And yeah, so that one works well for me. And yeah, but the thing also, I have two things that I like about this foundation. I mean, as much as I love the coverage, I mean, I get so excited when I use this one because I love the puff, I love the application, I love the texture, I love the finish. It's not the most long-lasting cushion. Like, I've had this on for I don't know how many hours. I'm gonna put it here, but like if you guys can see my skin close up, it's kind of breaking apart, especially on my chin area. This is like my problem area with this cushion. It's the smile lines, the chin area, and most importantly, the nose. The nose, there's definitely not that much foundation there. It's kind of erased. So yeah, as it's a good foundation, cushion foundation. It sits nicely on the skin, but it's not the most long-lasting one. So with this one, I live in the Philippines, and I wouldn't really recommend it to Filipinos, because I don't think it would sit well on your skin, and it wouldn't look really nice by the end of the day, because we have, you know, the weather is humid, it's hot, so I wouldn't really recommend it. But if you live in a country that has 4 seasons at least, and you can use this during fall or winter, and yeah, I would definitely recommend it for those people who have those types of countries. Like now I can get away using this one because the weather here in the Philippines is not as hot, and I just love how it looks on my skin. And then, but now during like summer months, I'm definitely gonna stay away from this one. So I can only use this a few times a year where it's a little bit more cooler here. Again, it's at your own risk if you want to try this, if you live here in the Philippines. I mean, you can definitely still cater it to your liking. Like what I've been doing here is I use a primer, then I use a matte primer, then I use a setting powder, then I also use a mattifying primer, and it seems to hold up really well. But if you live in a hot and humid country, I'm not quite sure if I would recommend it for you guys. Maybe you can try the matte version, which is the Cover Stay one. And yeah, I've been using this for more than a month. I've never broken out from this. And I've used foundations before that when I remove my makeup, my skin looks weirdly red. This one, my skin just looks normal. It's not irritated or anything. So yeah, so I hope my review of the Pony Effect Everlasting Cushion Foundation is helpful for you guys, and I hope I made sense with this review. But yeah, so again, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below and hit the thumbs up button so I know what videos you guys like. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!